Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, December 14th. So the moon is going to be moving out of that Arian energy and into Taurus energy. Typically speaking, when the moon moves out of Aries and moves into Taurus, we get a little bit low. We get a little bit slow. We turn the volume down. We kind of retreat. We just want to stick to our creature comforts. We want to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. We want to stick to what is familiar. Now, that doesn't sound so bad, but let me tell you, Taurus energy tends to highlight where it is that we're comfortable continuing to live in a rut. Tauran energy does not want to change, does not want to think about the past, does not want to think about the future, just wants to sit in this present moment. And sometimes that's exactly what we need, but also sometimes it can prevent us from making some boss moves to align us, to push us into the future, aligning with our future visions and our future dreams. So with the energy here today, we do have to understand that we are going to be a little bit down, a little bit earthy, a little bit more grounded, but sometimes that grounded energy, especially coming right out of that flying high, bold, brave, courageous energy of the moon being in Aries, sometimes that can feel like we're moving into a depressive state. Now, the moon bumps into Mars. And Mars, as you know, just fresh into Sagittarian energy, is very impulsive, very aggressive, very much restless, and got ants in their pants. The moon in Taurus is trying to stay in the present moment, but let me tell you, the moon in Taurus doesn't want to make a move, and that's all Mars wants to do. So this is likely going to highlight where it is that we're frustrated, where it is that we're hella moody, where it is that we're emotionally irritated, maybe even a little bit angry. Why? Because one part of us wants to be in the future and the other part just wants to curl up in a ball and just watch Netflix all day and just block out reality, right? So that can be a little bit of an inner conflict. The moon trines Mercury though, Mercury just fresh into Capricorn. So we got Taurus energy, earth sign, Capricorn energy, earth sign. So these energies are going to work very well together. And let me tell you, because Mercury rules over the mental plane, rules over information and communication, we're likely going to get very real with what it is that we're thinking and feeling. We have a grounded approach. We are thinking logically and practically. We are communicating ourselves with intent, with importance. We are focused on what matters to us, what it is we need to feel safe and secure and stable in our lives. And honestly, this can be very productive for us in our inner realms, getting our heart and our head on the same page. And if we're so positioned to do so, to speak on our feels, use that throat chakra, express ourselves, and actually be heard and validated by those that we are hoping to receive our information in the best kinds of way. Now, the moon is going to bump into the true node, and let me tell you, this is going to activate us in a way that we wish it didn't. Of course, the true node is our future selves, and the moon in Taurus does not want to think about the future. We just want to sit in this little comfy, cozy little position of even uncomfortability because it's familiar. So there's likely going to be a situation that unfolds in our physical realms. There's going to be an outside activator, an outside trigger, likely coming from either our plans being disrupted or an emotion coming from a personal relationship. Maybe we're receiving information and communications from other people on their authentic feels that, you know what, changes the game for us. Regardless, we recognize in this moment how hesitant we are to grow, how hesitant we are to change our minds, how hesitant we are to think about the futures, how much we just want to stay in this present moment, lock everybody out, and just be. This is going to illuminate for us where it is that we, because we're refusing to change a lot, where we're preventing our own growth, our own abundance, our own blessings. Now that never feels good. Just when we have this trigger kind of activate this within us, Mercury goes ahead and bumps into the true node as well. So we had our moon bump into the true node. This is our emotions, our unconscious self. Then we have Mercury, our thoughts, our train of thinking, our communication bumping into the true node. And let me tell you, this is going to harbor a lot of mental negative narratives. Yes, Mercury in Capricorn is very productive, but we are a little bit somber doing so. We are a little bit too grounded, if you will. We're focused all the negative Nancy narratives, and we're definitely going to be highlighted now that we've been illuminated where it is that we're blocking ourselves from truly getting what it is that we want in life. We're going to be sitting in the negative narratives of why we shouldn't move on, why we need to make peace with being uncomfortable in the here and now, why sitting in familiar territory, as uncomfortable and toxic as it may be, is a lot more comfortable than expanding ourselves and pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone to move into unfamiliar territory when we don't know what to expect. Things are only going to get more amplified when the moon semi-squares Neptune. Neptune is highly sensitive, very, very emotional. This is our intuition, our higher selves, and we're having a hard time connecting to our higher selves and our intuition right now because our egoic selves wants to stay in the present moment, wants to sit in the fear. So what happens when the moon bumps into Neptune in this way? Well, we're already kind of riding a negative vibe, and all we're going to want to do is escape reality. We talked about this in this week's ascension symptom forecast, where, you know what? Many of us are just going to want to run and hide from our realities, escaping to drugs, to alcohol, to work, to food, whatever it is, whatever vice it is that you turn to consume yourself, from distracting yourself from all the things that, you know what, are just too much in our earthly plane right now. The moon semi-squares the sun, and this is really going to illuminate the inner conflict that we're having, especially between our heart and our head, especially between the old version of ourselves, our old realities, and the new version of ourselves and the new realities in which we actually intend on manifesting. We were illuminated very early in the day where it is that we've been blocking our own blessings, refusing to change, refusing to grow. This is going to really add to the inner pressure that we're feeling, and there's going to be another trigger in our external realms, really showing us where it is that we're feeling insecure, where we're highly sensitive, where we feel the instability of our lives, just, you know what, just like the foundations under our feet just crumbling. Now, we are approaching some very interesting astro events next week. Most importantly, Venus going retrograde in Capricorn, which is going to have a huge effect on relationships. Many of us are in relationships that we got no business being in. We hold on because we're fearful of what our lives would look like without this ego identity, without this label, without this attachment. Venus retrograde is going to destroy any weak-ass relationships, destroy them in order to free us to align with right kinds of people. Our values are changing. And right now we're being triggered by our external realm to recognize where it is that we can't run from these things any longer, where it is that we have to give ourselves permission in this present moment to sit down and give a good think on what it is that we want to do, where it is we want to grow from here. We got a little bit of help when the moon bumps into Jupiter, our hype girl. This is bringing the optimism back. This is bringing us a renewed sense of confidence and faith. This is where we talk ourselves off the edge. This is where we bring ourselves out of this dark, bottomless pit, this tunnel, this negative narrative that we've been in, and we start speaking positive about our lives, about our future plans, about what it is that we need to do. But again, every single time we take a step forward, there's darker force energies to pull us back. And as you may have recognized already, this has been a tough, emotional day. We're going to end the day off just as we're trying to fly high and get hyped up and be a little bit more optimistic and confident in ourselves. The moon is going to square conflict, tension with Saturn. Typically speaking, our negative Nancy narrative comes back. We get overwhelmed with the roles and responsibilities that we've already committed to in life. We are controlled by our negative perspective, our negative thoughts, our negative memories and emotions. We want to control our physical realms. We might trigger our OCD, our perfectionism. We might distract ourselves with our earthly tasks and chores in order to prevent us from truly sitting with ourselves, thinking and feeling the discontent, the unhappiness that is being triggered within us. Why? Because of that Neptune energy earlier. We just want to run. We just want to hide. We just want to escape. So I do very honestly recommend that you do what you can to face yourself. It is going to provide you with a lot more positive energy as we move through the next couple of days than setting yourself up to sit in this dark hole for the days to come.